Choosing a career can be a very daunting experience. A lot of young people, as soon as they finish matric, do not know what it is that they want to study. They're not sure what they want to study. Although they've gone through the process of, at school, they bring in psychometric testing, they bring in all sorts of people to tell you what you should go and study, what you ultimately should end up being. You have a lot of influences in life that tell you it's either your parents, it's friends, that's, hey, Nicolette would be a doctor, or Nicolette would be this, Nicolette would be that. But ultimately, what you end up doing is up to you and what your strengths really are. Because what's the point of becoming a doctor, but you are squeamish to blood, you're squeamish to injections, you're squeamish to seeing dying people? On today's show of Assertiveness, the show that gives ordinary South Africans a space to talk, debate, discuss everything and anything that really matters, we will be discussing career choices and what influences in your life will dictate what you end up being. In studio, I'm joined by some well-esteemed, young and beautiful people. I am so grateful for that because you know when you have boring guests, like your show, man. Yo, show yet. So I'm very excited to be chatting to you guys. I'm very, very excited to be chatting to these three young people about their career choices and what influences in their lives led to them choosing the path in which they are on. Whether they are working, whether they're not working, whether they don't have a career, whether they have a career, what decisions in your life led to where you are. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves as we always do on the show, because we don't want to assume or sit in a position of assumption that we know everything about you. So you're going to tell us who you are, a little bit of where you're from, what you do, and yeah, let's start the conversation from there. Ma'am in yellow, how are you doing? I know it's Miss Gloria.
Yes, I'm Miss Gloria.
Miss Gloria, you're actually Mrs. August.
I'm actually Mrs. August, yes. My name is Gloria August, as you said. Yes, I'm married, as you keep pointing out. But anyway, I'm from Guatemala, a little location in Springs. And what I'm currently doing is trying to get to a place where I want to be, in considering that we're talking about careers. And I want to actually get to a point where I'm actually a chef. So it's very hard getting there. So I actually have to put things together in order to get there. But eventually I will explain to you why it's actually so hard. Yeah. But we're talking careers today, and I think it's a good platform to start embracing the choices that we have to make concerning careers. So yeah.
Can you cook?
Yes, I can cook, dear. I can cook.
Only your husband knows. The rest of us will never know.
Yes, only my husband knows. For now.
For now, yes, for now. Indeed.
Just point that out.
Yes,
for now.
Indeed. Mr. Sfiso.
Hi, my name is Sfiso Maphosa. I'm from a big town called Springs in Guatemala.
She's at Guatemala.
In Guatemala. I am a minister. Oh. Not political minister, not minister of education or minister of health, but I am a minister of the word of God.
Right.
Thank you.
Interesting. Ma'am.
Hi everyone, I'm Lishe, aka Zintle, and I'm from...
We are teased when.
And I'm from Mpumalanga, but I live in Guatemala, and I'm doing marketing at Springs College called Ekurhuleni East College.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Now, I found that in my life, when I finished matric, look, you know, you get told Nicolette can be a lawyer because she talks so much. Oh. So parents almost take this assumption because you have a certain personality, they assume that, you know, you can do a certain... Have you guys experienced that when you were growing up, what are the career choices that people thought that, you know, Gloria would end up in?
Well, for one, I was very shy growing up. Okay. So people did not think I was going to be able to work with people at all. So I was like, when people talk to me, they usually say, no, this one must just consider a career where it's just to sit in an office somewhere alone and not deal with people. And eventually I actually got out of my little box where I was so shy, and I'm not anymore. And now people see me differently. They think, you know, you should consider something where you talk to people more. But you know what? When you're talking about parents so almost as though they impose decisions on you, like you're going to be a doctor when you don't want to be a doctor. Yes. Eventually, if you do go the path that your parents choose, eventually you're going to end up not liking what you do. And then we end up having people who do their jobs the way that they're not supposed to. Practical example, nurses. We have nurses that I in my opinion, they should have gone to the army and not be nurses. Because I mean, you get to the clinic and they take you and they shove you somewhere you don't want to be. So I believe that choosing your career you should also take account the kind of person that you are. Whether you can work, you can actually have the patience for people. Because if you're gonna be a nurse, you're gonna need all the patience in the world. Because you're gonna get all the difficult, sometimes nice but difficult clients. So if you are not the person who likes to talk to people, then you're gonna have a problem.
You go to the clinic and then you find an army soldiers
ready to attack you because you're a day late for bringing your child to immunization.
and they can't help you. Sure. Sfiso, were there any careers that were thrown in your face to say?
There are lots. Back then, my parents wanted me to be an engineer. Yeah.
But ambitious. Such ambition.
They wanted me to be an engineer, but obviously, all of us, when we were 10, our parents wanted us to be doctors. But then, eventually, I went to do engineering, civil engineering.
Is it?
Yeah, because I know that parents want security. Besides every other thing, they want security. The only thing I wanted was to do advertising and marketing.
Okay.
But now they thought, money? No, there's no money. So they wanted me to be an engineer. You know, there's money there in the engineering. So I went to go do civil engineering. They had to find out the hard way that it's not me. Yeah.
And when you say the hard way, did you drop out? Did you fail? What was this is not going to happen?
Yeah, I dropped out.
You dropped out. Okay. You and I share something in common. I also dropped out, but I'll tell you guys later.
Yeah.
If ever I want the story of how I dropped out of law, but whatever. Lise, any careers work for Stella, Or did you have it? But how old are you? You look young.
I'm 21.
You're 21. So I think you grew up in an age where parents were a little bit more relaxed, Yeah,
you can do your thing.
But for Stella, on anything, how she can be a doctor or a nurse or...
They forced me to be a social worker. And then I didn't go to grade R, but when I grow up, I just say I want to be a teacher.
Okay.
Yes, I was looking to be a teacher, but now I realize that it's difficult to get to the university because I've applied and I didn't get the space. So my uncle decided to take me to the college to do marketing. At first, I didn't like marketing, but now I realize that there's nothing I can do. You
can do anything.
Yes.
So you're telling me that you wanted to be a teacher originally. So your family wanted you to do social work. Yes. And you were like, okay, this is not going to happen. Then you wanted to be a teacher. Yes. And then you didn't get in at university to be a teacher. So now you're doing marketing. Yes. You didn't have a love for marketing. You only found it now. Yes. Yo, my daughter, guys. But only the examples of people who are in nurses' job, they don't want to be nurses.
That's the thing. I think sometimes the way life pushes you in a certain direction, sometimes it's not your parents, sometimes it's not anybody influencing you. Yeah. But then the circumstance around you at the time pushes you to do a career that you didn't want. Yes. For one, finances. Yes. Finances can be a huge factor because they talk about bursaries as though they are widely available, and come to think of it, they are not.
Pick whichever one you want.
You can just cherry pick. You don't cherry pick. Sometimes you apply for bursaries and you don't get the bursary. And then what then? Then you end up doing maybe short courses because they make financial sense at the time, and then they get you to the place that you want to be eventually. But at the time, when you want to start a career, the money is not there. So it pushes us to a different direction. It's a lot of things. There are a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to choosing a career, because it's a lot of things that are happening at the same time. So another issue is the issue of time. Because if you're gonna sit for the next 3 years thinking about how to get into that field that you want, like practical example, me. Yeah. It's so hard. Like being a chef is so hard because there's hardly any bursaries for chefs. There's none. It's so scarce finding one. And when you look at the fees that are demanded, for instance, I wanted to go to a culinary school that is here in Joburg, and it's called Capsicum.
Yes, I do know.
That school, like your first year, your tuition alone is 60,000.
Yeah.
That is excluding accommodation and textbooks and all these things, the clothes, and you have to eat. So eventually you decide to go to a college to maybe do hospitality. And that is like a step lower from where you want to be, but it's at least a start.
You started somewhere.
You know, it's a short course, it'll get you where you want to go, but it's just not gonna give you that university qualification that you want, which is something that is not considered in the workplace. It's just very difficult.
And then, sometimes it's pressure. Whether it's pressure from friends, whether time is pressure, because sometimes you set goals as to, I want to be a millionaire by 23.
Yeah.
So I won't be a doctor. So now you're sacrificing what your love is, what your dream is, just for the money or just because there's pressure. And then sometimes you do it because Gloria is doing it, because Zintle is doing it. Kusho ukuthi it's cool. Kunemali. Or it's cool, I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be famous if I appear on TV and I become an actress, then everybody's gonna love me and it's gonna be cool. So sometimes it's pressure.
Okay. And tell me, what did your parents say when you came back from dropping out of engineering? So now you've dropped out of engineering and you now need to tell your parents, engineering learner is not happening and I'm going into ministry. How did they feel? How did they take it? What was the journey? Tell us the journey. Take us through the journey of you deciding, engineering my daughter is not happening. I now need something.
Yeah, I dropped out of engineering.
In 20 or in 19?
I forgot 20 what?
Yeah.
20 something. I dropped out of college, and after that, I decided to go do my marketing.
Okay.
Something I loved at that time. And then I did my marketing, and then I got an opportunity to have a business.
Oh, to run your own business.
To run my own business, my own franchise. Then I dropped out of marketing now because I had an opportunity to get into business.
Okay.
Which was fun, okay? Franchise.
What was attractive about business? Money and doing your own thing, not having a boss?
I loved marketing and I loved business. Okay. I loved entrepreneurship. So anything that said entrepreneurship, I loved it. So it just attracted me. When they said business, I thought, okay, let me go for it, you know. And after doing that, that's when I started having a calling. I did not decide that I want to be a minister. I did not decide. My father was also a minister,
okay,
but I did not do it because he did it. It's a calling. Okay. It's a calling. And then I decided, no, not that I decided. Now, because I was not following my calling, every other thing stopped. Business was not doing well suddenly. Other things were not going well suddenly. You know this calling thing, it's like being a sangoma, sort of.
I don't know this calling thing. I do not know this calling thing. Please.
So after that, I had to stop everything and focus on my ministry and my calling.
Okay.
Sure.
This is very, very interesting. I think when we come back from the short ad break, we're going to talk a little bit more about your calling.
Sure.
And whether they are actually callings, not only for ministry, but for jobs, for careers.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's, as you said, you want to go into being a chef? Is there a calling? Is there a gravitational pull that is pulling you towards being a chef and, marketing? Do you feel that it is something that you actually want to do, or are you, because now you didn't get into education, are you using it as a crutch? We're good. You guys look so tired. Again.
No.
Like a little chilling.
We're just taking in all the information.
Yes, because I feel like we need to educate the people at home about this whole career path and how do we come full circle, starting from, as you said, matric, going into careers that you fail in, or going into something you don't love, and then realizing, actually, this is not my calling.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that calling. Guys, when we come back, we're going to further discuss the calling. Is there a calling only in ministry? Or is there a calling in general for your career path? Are you doing right now as you sit at home, are you a doctor? Are you a nurse? Are you a lawyer? Are you in advertising? Do you like what you're doing? Did you feel like a slight call to say this is where you need to be? Don't go away. We will further discuss this topic. We are discussing careers and career choices and career paths. Just before the ad break, we were talking about the calling. You were explaining to us that you went into engineering or studied engineering, did not work, you did not like it. You went into marketing and advertising, something you did like, and then you got an opportunity to run a business. You started running a business, and then you got your calling.
Yeah.
Of the word, being in ministry.
Yes.
Right. Okay, perfect. Now what I want to understand, maybe from the other guests that are sitting here, is to find out whether or not there is a calling in other career paths. Do you feel, Gloria, that you are being something in the universe is pulling you towards, being a chef?
I believe for all careers, it has to be a calling, because if it's not a calling, then you're not going to enjoy it.
Okay.
It's just going to be something you do for money, and money should never be the motivation for a job that you pick, for a career that you pick, period. Whether it's picking up the garbage, or it's teaching, or it's whatever, it has to be something that you're actually going to enjoy, because there's nothing more annoying as doing a job that you actually drag your feet when you have to wake up in the morning to go to work. That's the reason why people are just annoyed the whole day. People just.
But sometimes it's the people you work with.
Sometimes it's the people you work with, but sometimes it's the choice that you made. Yeah. You made it because you didn't want to make it. You don't have a choice. You did it because there was nothing else you could do. I believe it should be a calling every way.
Being a street sweeper, is that a calling? Are there people who are called towards that?
Somehow, maybe not a calling towards that, but there are people who are good at doing that, and they know I'm good at it, and so they actually embrace it. Sometimes when you start somewhere, because even if you start, maybe you study for engineering, and then you don't get a job in engineering at first glance, maybe. Yes. Then you start somewhere. Okay. The least you can do is to be able to tolerate the job that you do at the time. Do it with a smile, knowing that you are having a goal as to where you are going. Okay. Then you do the job with your heart pure, that I'm doing this as best as I can. Because if you don't, how are you going to get to the point where you want to get? Because you never know where opportunity lies. Yes. You might be sweeping the streets, and maybe you for one, let me just make an example about you. You're a good speaker, and eventually you have your own show. Yeah. But let's say maybe you were sweeping the streets, and then somebody asks you for directions. Had you been like, then that person wouldn't have recognized that you actually have the talent to speak. Maybe if you spoke to the person nicely and be like, no man, why are you sweeping the street? You speak so nicely. How about I offer you your own show? You never know where breakthrough lies. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Do your job as best as you can, and don't annoy people while you're doing it.
Don't annoy people while you're doing it.
Because some people are going to complain like you. Like sometimes it's the people you work with. So you don't want to be the person who makes a job be difficult for someone else. So
I actually read a tweet this morning from, I think it's at Cindy Van Sale. And she said she's so saddened by when she speaks to her patients. I don't know what she does. When she speaks to her patients and asks them about how their jobs are, and they talk about how much they hate their jobs. It must be terrible to be in a job that you really like, you hate with a calling, like with a passion, like Yaizonda. You know what I mean? I mean, it must be difficult. Are you excited about going into marketing?
Yes.
Do you think you're gonna like it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah. Because what I'm hearing from you is that you ended up in marketing because you couldn't get it into education. Are you maybe, okay, so what is your plan going forward? You're going to finish marketing, then what kind of marketing are you going to go into?
I'm going to finish marketing. My course is for 1 year, 6 months.
Okay.
Then the next 1 year, 6 months, I'm gonna do practical. Then after that, if there's still time, I'm gonna
always be time. What do you mean if there's still time?
Time can be pressure, as he said. Time can be pressure. So everybody's chasing a clock.
For me to say to go to the college,
Yeah.
it was difficult.
Okay.
Because my friends, they were busy laughing at me. You're going to the college. College is not a...
Not university.
College is like, it's one and the same as high school.
At the college, you find in high school.
Yeah, it's where I come from. College, it's like they undermine college.
Why by undermine?
I don't know.
But if I'm in high school,
It looked like a high school college.
and the food in the
So I was also like, ish, I'm going to college, you know, college sucks, you know what, I want to go to university, but only to find out that I can't make it to university.
Okay, so what you are saying ultimately is that if there's time for you, you would like to go to university.
Yes, if I like, after my practical,
Yes.
I got my diploma, I'll go to university and do teaching for 1 year, 6 months.
Yeah, you can't go to do teaching for 1 year, 6 months in university. They're not going to allow that.
But I do have a diploma.
And then the diploma yako is in marketing, it's not in education. Uzwaqala phansi futhi.
That fresh. Oh.
Are you willing to do that?
No.
No.
I want to work. No way.
Hayi wena Lihle uthini manje? Lihle akithi manje ufunda marketing.
Yes.
Obviously if ufunda marketing you have to follow marketing. Uqede marketing. Ngeke bathathe diploma ye marketing bayifake ku education. If ufuna ukuyenza education in the university kumele uqale phansi futhi. What are you in a rush for? How old are you again?
21 years.
Oh, machuchache.
It's time.
It is time. You have all the time in the world.
No, but what she's talking about is an actual problem because you know our parents are, for me, I found that luckily for me I was fortunate enough not to have those kind of parents. But in my family there are parents who every day bayakubuza ukuthi kanti uqeda nini? Until nini isikole, I mean, because I went to Rhodes University to pursue a degree in law. Hey, Jesus. To pursue a degree in law, and it did not work out. Like, I failed my course. You know, there are reasons why I failed because, you know, partying was great, you know, freedom was so great. And then in the 4 years that I was at Rhodes, people in my family kept asking me, you know, those kind of pressure that you get. And eventually when my mom and my dad came to terms with the fact that I had failed my course and I have to start something else, you know, they were supportive. It was like, okay, no, you can't be a university dropout. You need to go do something. But the rest of my family were like, failile. You know what I mean? So I understand the pressure that you are under, but I mean, for me, if you walk off the show today, you need to understand, Wuti, time. If you still have people who can support you, and I think the other issue is, do you have the support? Do you have the support?
Yes.
So manje ungaqali phansi education. Okay, let's start here. What was the reason for you not getting into university? Was it marks? Or there was no space or finances?
There was no space.
In all the universities or just Gauteng universities?
I applied at CUT
Okay.
and UJ and University of Limpopo.
I'm actually very saddened by that because there's Funza Lushaka or Lusaka, whatever it's called. Funza Lushaka for teachers. I mean, some universities, I know Techies pays for you full. You don't have to even pay to do it because South Africa needs teachers.
But you actually have to be registered with a university before they can give you the bursary. So if you don't get the space, then you're not eligible for the bursary. So that's what I'm saying. They talk about bursaries as though they are wildly available, but it's not the case. When you actually have to start somewhere, get a bursary, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, and the paperwork that goes into it. The paperwork makes it extra hard. It makes it extra hard.
Manje, tell us, why do you want to be a teacher? Why do you want to be a teacher?
It's because like I want to be a teacher. That's what I'm dreaming.
Why though? What's pushing the passion to be a teacher? Is it a calling? Do you feel like gune calling yana somewhere it's when a mistress? Mistress. What's your name?
Lihle.
What's your surname?
Tomo.
You mistress Tomo. Or what about mistress?
Ma'am.
Ma'am Tomo. Not mistress, ma'am.
Mistress can be easily mistaken for something very different.
Oh, but lava ma'am. I used to be a teacher at some time in my life. a very difficult time in my life.
Also tutored at the college I was in. I did things I just didn't enjoy, but I tolerated it. When I was in college, I actually did administration and computing, one of the short courses that I did. In those short courses, afterwards, when I was done, like my tutor approached me, like, how would you feel about tutoring other students? And I actually did it for a while until I got a job at a call center, which was another thing that I hated. Because you have to sit on the phone and talk to somebody you don't know, you don't see, and they're swearing at you over the phone because you're trying to tell them something they don't want. So I just noticed I am not a salesperson. So eventually, I think schools try, when you're still in high school, grade 10, grade 11, to do these career expo things where they're trying to show you what kind of person you are and what career would be suitable for you. But eventually, it's going to have to be something that you see. Some people don't get to see that they want to be teachers whilst they're still in high school. They actually discover that passion way after high school, that no, actually I like doing this. So they actually go that route afterwards, after wasting so many years doing something they don't like. So it's not the same for everyone. Some people discover it early in life and some people just discover it later on in life. But the point is discovering it and doing it. That's what is important.
Sir, I wanted to ask you,
I just wanted to say something about Lesa's cat, about the calling.
Please.
I think this calling thing, maybe there's difference. There's different types, because Mina, and I know most probably a lot of ministers did not want to be pastors. But it was here.
That's not cool.
It was like FIFA 2010. It was here. It was coming. You see? So it arrived and you had to do it. So you...
So wait, hold up. How does it just arrive? Like, how do you just... It's not like you wake up and you've got a church now and you've got a congregation of people that you must...
No.
Is it cool to be a pastor? Do you like it?
Me?
Yes.
Now I like it.
And while you were easing into it?
While this calling thing was still in the process, I didn't like it. I did not want to be a pastor. I did not want to be a minister. My father was a minister. I know that they don't get paid.
So done.
Hey.
There are actually some myths, and I know the show is not about being a pastor, it's about careers, but I want you to help us to break some myths about pastors.
There's a saying that says, where he leads, he feeds.
Okay.
So wherever God leads you to go, wherever he will feed you. Sometimes you don't know how.
Hey, did you hear that pastor voice come through? He will feed you.
I am used to the voice.
So sometimes you go to certain places where the calling wants you to go with no cash, with nothing on you, but because he leads you, he feeds you.
Also profound. You. There's
and sometimes it's more than, it's not about money anymore. It's not about money anymore. It's not about having a mega church anymore.
Pastors make a lot of money. I watch preachers of LA and I'm like,
LA, South Africa.
Preachers of LA.
Yeah, preachers of Guatemala, you should come.
Preachers in South Africa don't make money. I have seen people make money. Nispalisa 25%. Tithe is now 25% in these churches. Yes, bro.
In your church, dear. In your church.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that granted, you might not practice it in the church that you guys are currently in, but it is a new trend. It is now the big thing in South Africa. It's being an entrepreneur or being a pastor.
Being a pastor.
You know, it's a big thing because now you're close to God. You know, siyakuthanda because you are close to God, but I'm coining it. I know some rich pastors, eh?
So what I wanted to say is that with careers, there is a calling, but it's different because you're gonna love what you were called for. For instance, I loved marketing, I loved entrepreneurship, but now I was spiritually called to become a minister.
Why, Mudimo? Pastor, but as he said, where he leads you, he will feed you.
Pastors can work. It's not necessarily that they can't work.
But that's the other thing. So that's part of the myths that I wanted to bust because I know for a fact that pastors work. They've got normal jobs.
Yes, pastors can.
So are you gonna look for a normal job? I want to
My husband is a pastor, and he is actually looking into going into the marketplace to actually work for a living and do ministry, because God does not restrict you that you can't do. There are pastors who say God restricts them to say you can't go to the workplace at all.
So Mamfundisi when?
Yes, I'm actually Mamfundisi.
So that's actually, Mamfundisi not a career path?
No, dear, no. Do you even get paid for being Mamfundisi? I don't think so. I don't think you even get paid for being Mamfundisi. No, it's not a career. Actually, ministry is not a career.
Okay, so you are sitting with a man who is a pastor. So clearly when you were looking for a husband, you were not looking for an attractive career. I'm just asking.
No, not necessarily that. I wasn't looking for an attractive career. Pastors can be very attractive, mind you.
Yeah.
Mind you, they can be very attractive.
Yeah, look at me.
Let's take a quick ad break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, the image that comes with the career that you choose. What do we, when we see you and we meet you for the first time and you're like, oh, I'm a pastor. And then I'm sure women are like, oh, interesting.
Really?
They don't? Okay, no. Let's take a quick ad break. We'll come back and we'll chat just about that. Guys, do stay tuned in. We are back and we're talking about career choices, career paths, and what is an attractive career. Just before the break, you said, look at me, I'm a pastor. Huh? So, yeah?
I said me.
You, as an individual, not you being a pastor.
Sure.
Also, when you meet somebody, it's not about you as a pastor, it's about you as Usfiso.
No, it's about me being a human, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point of the relationship do you tell someone you're a pastor? When you start disappearing on Sundays?
No, you have to tell them immediately. You have to tell them immediately. One of the things about being a pastor, you have to be honest at all times. I can't get there and say I'm a producer.
But do I need cheat and I'm a pastor? Okay, well, no, that's a topic for another day. We'll get it.
That's just a problem for men in general. It's not for pastors.
I'm so sorry. Listen, quick question. If you had to meet a guy near Hlangana, a news cafe, do you guys go to news cafe? A library.
No, library.
Okay, in the supermarket. You meet up at Pick and Pay.
But this is an unfair question. Ask Gloria.
Yes, this is my show. I can ask what I want.
Ask Gloria.
You bump into a guy at Pick and Pay. You are talking, I muhle man, lobfana man. In a nice suit. He's chatting you up. Then you ask him, what do you do? I'd say, I'm a pastor.
I'm a pastor.
Emma, wena man. Yamfuna? Why? Why not?
Always will be church. Church. Monday to Sunday, church. I only want to go to church Sunday.
Only?
Yes, unless it's a calling from God. That is meant to be mine.
Oh.
A calling from God. That's a very unfair assumption to say that pastors cannot be romantic. They can be quite. Ask me, I know they can be quite. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. But they can be romantic people. They do what every other man would do to their woman. Take them to movies or whatever. But they can. It is interesting. But I tell you, pastors can be very good looking and they can be very romantic.
Yes. We're actually not that uptight. Yeah, stadium.
Yeah, stadium. You beg sock.
Yeah. I go to the stadium. I go to movies. It's not like there's a mall for Christians. I go to the mall. There's a mall for pastors. I go to the mall.
Okay, a quick one. So if you say no to a pastor, who would you say yes to? Yeah, what I'm asking is which careers are more attractive to women? Maybe to you. Let's not say to women because you're not all of us. Indoda ngafika 18 ngenzani? What's about attractive to you?
Maybe someone, maybe a teacher.
You would like a man who's a teacher.
That is so classic. That was so unexpected.
I was expecting a doctor, a lawyer, a businessman. You want to marry a man who's a teacher also?
To be honest, I'm not after money.
Okay.
What I'm looking, it's love, respect.
But a pastor can love you and respect you.
True. I know, but nobody is perfect in this world.
Yeah, and you don't want to hear about the Bible every day.
Love them all, but trust no one. Even the pastor, you can't trust the pastor.
Nazo.
Gloria, are there careers that are more attractive?
I do believe that there's people who are attracted to certain kinds of people because of the work that they do.
Okay.
Some women are attracted to businessmen. Some women actually say, I love a man in a suit. When they see a man in a suit, they just go crazy. And then there are those who like people who are adventurous, men in uniform, yes. So it's different for every woman. But I would say that every career, once you are successful at something, it automatically makes you attractive.
Exactly.
Whatever career you're doing, once you are successful at it, you just stand out amongst all the others. That's what I think.
Which careers do you guys think have money? Because obviously, let's not lie to each other. There are other careers that have money and other careers that don't. And people always have this philosophical thing that they say, no, you can make money in any career. Lies. No offense. If you're a teacher, there is a ceiling that you're going to reach. Granted, you can't go higher. You know what I mean? You end up being a prince. Granted, maybe what we need to look at is that career path has other opportunities. So you don't always have to be a teacher. If you study education, you can end up being a professor or whatever. But that comes with more learning, more school. And our people don't like school.
Yeah, no.
Especially black people don't like school.
Why?
I don't know. But I would say that when we're growing up, we are told to expect that doctors are going to have money, lawyers are going to have money, and then there's other things that parents don't want you to even look at, like being a DJ or being a musician.
Even in sports, my father told me sports has zero money. Why are you going into sports?
Maybe in other countries acting in other countries actually makes money, but in South Africa it's like, those people don't get paid. They don't get paid.
They don't get paid?
No.
I don't want to be an actor.
Not as good as people from international countries. Those people get paid. But I would say that in most careers, there are ways that you can make more money.
Yes.
There are opportunities. Most companies even offer you to take you to school to actually make you better within the company, and you grow within that. So I think we should consider that, because careers like teaching, maybe you end up a professor. That's the best you can do.
No, man, you can be what do they call them? An academic.
An academic.
Yes, you can write books and lie to us, and make us believe stories. Which careers are easier to find jobs in? We obviously live in South Africa. There's a big market for certain jobs.
Teachers. There's a big market for that now, because people are losing interest in doing teaching. Hence, there's now these bursaries widely available for teachers. They're saying, come, we'll take care of you. Just come and study teaching. Even if you don't like it, just come so you can get to a place where you are employed. I think that's another reason why people choose the careers that they choose. Because it's easily available to get a job other than in other careers.
And I think if we didn't have all these bursaries that are going on with the teaching, we wouldn't have so many teachers.
Do we have enough teachers in South Africa?
Now we do.
You think?
Apparently there is a shortage of teachers. There's a massive one. From what I know, there's a massive one.
Because now everybody, you're getting a bursary, you're getting money to eat, you're getting money.
But does that not force us to be stuck with this? People who don't want to go into teaching, but because they are paying for you, they do everything for you. We end up with teachers who don't want to be teachers. The likes of Olihle are not getting into those positions, but we have people who are going into and becoming teachers, and they don't really like it.
And we also need to consider the fact that there is a lot of corruption going on, even in terms of bursaries. Who gets awarded the bursary and who doesn't? Who gets awarded the job and who doesn't? It's about who you know in a high position somewhere to get you into a job. Who do you know in a high position somewhere who can get you a bursary without undergoing all the necessary long processes that you have to do? So it's a problem.
Finding a tender, getting a... Okay, what careers do we undermine? I think there are some... teaching, obviously, is one career that everybody undermines. What other careers do we find?
Social working.
Social working, and that's very important.
We really undermine it. And the careers that we undermine I feel like they're the most important.
The basics.
They are basics. And sometimes it's not that you undermine it. For instance, I wouldn't be a nurse because I'm a guy. There's a few
Gender-based.
yeah, gender-based careers, you see. So, to answer your question, social working is undermined. Early daycare, childhood is undermined.
Even policemen are undermined.
Who's going to teach your children?
But is it not the people that are in those jobs that create that perception? Because, I'm a police, guys. I'm a police, man.
It's not always the case. It's not always the case. It's just the fact that we know policemen to be also corrupt. So it's like, these people.
And to know what's about whole and they didn't go to school.
Learn much. They don't know English. When they're writing you an affidavit and you read it, it's like, wow, did you go to school? Do you know English? It looks like that. So there are people who are actually good at what they're doing, being policemen, and who have gone to school, who can actually spell, who can actually give you good English. But because there are those ones that are not there, then everybody just associates. It's painting everyone with the same brush, with the same color paint. It's everything.
And I think
like pastors are all painted with the same brush.
Yeah, we're also being undermined. Hey?
You undermined, but you see, there's something I want to touch on, but I do think it's a topic for another day. The raping also of pastors of little children, for me, is very scary. You guys need to clean up the image of Ama pastors.
Yes.
We depend feeding people Ama snakes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like, they are tainting that.
But either way, no matter how you look at it, in every career, in every aspect, there's always a few rotten apples there. There's nothing you can do to do that, to change that.
It's just that because I'm a pastor, everybody is expecting me to be clean.
Holier than thou.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, she said it earlier on that we are also human.
Yeah.
We are also human, so we will make mistakes. Now, because as a pastor in Prekisile, it's going to be this huge thing that, no, this one has to get crucified because, and we do make mistakes.
So now you get crucified.
But what I also wanted to say is that other careers get undermined because of media.
Okay.
Media somehow portrays, thank you, English. Portrays.
George never loved us.
English.
English.
The media portrays other careers as if it's not important. I mean, we don't see a lot about social workers. We don't see a lot about policemen. Nobody says it. Who's ever said there's a shortage of policemen? But now everybody's saying there's a shortage of engineers.
Yes. And the country needs engineers. A country with good engineers is a well-run and managed country.
Now, how do you get to be an engineer?
Somebody needs to teach you.
Especially if you fail science all the time.
If we're doing corruption, how is that going to get cleared? Because of the policemen.
I hear you.
But it's not only policemen. I mean, jobs like secretaries. Secretaries are just undermined. They think they're people.
They're bad attitude. That's their problem.
Glorified skivvies. They teach them as people who just do your little odd jobs. And those people actually also have a place where they want to be in life. Just because they chose to do secretarial admin doesn't mean they wanted to be your skivvy.
But they must stop being. But that is what a secretary is. You're supposed to be a skivvy.
But you don't treat that person like that's the thing. It's the treatment that makes us undermine that career that they've chosen. The way they are treated, it's like you do what I tell you, and whatever I say goes. You are nothing here but somebody I can send everywhere.
Cool. Guys, it's been a nice conversation. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been eye-opening, especially, Cicely is going to upload her degree, her diploma. That is very interesting. But like I said, it's thank you very much for coming through. I just want you guys to get a final wrap-up, your advice to young people out there who are choosing careers. Quickly, what would you say to somebody right now who's in matric and they need to find something?
I would say check the kind of person that you are. Consider your personality when you're choosing a career, and also be very careful to have a good motivation for choosing it, and let it not be money, because if it is money, eventually money is not going to be enough to keep you happy in that career.
True. But this visa?
Remember I said I'm human also?
Yes.
So
humans visa?
Yes. I just want to quote this.
Yeah.
Love what you do and do what you love.
Awesome. Ma'am?
Follow your heart, choose wisely.
Follow your heart and choose wisely. Guys, you've heard it right here on Assertiveness, the show that gives ordinary South Africans the space to talk about things that really matter, things of substance, of gravitas. As we say on Assertiveness, if you can't be assertive, you really can't sit with us. Thank you very much for tuning in.